Welcome and welcome back, dear Tarot Pals. If this is the first time you've found me through an algorithm prompt, I welcome you to my growing Tarot Pal community. I post 2 to 3 videos every week. You will find all the relevant information regarding booking a personal reading or the other timeless read links in the description box below. If you're a returning viewer and you haven't yet subscribed, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It definitely means the world to me. And thank you if you are a continued Tarot Pal community member. I appreciate all your lovely comments. The last video we did tremendously well. So congratulations to you as much as to me. I hope you've watched, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the future spouse reading. Again, you will find that in the description box below, along with the March monthly if you happen to come across this reading in the month of March. Today we're going to look at what does Spirit want you to know right here, right now. What do you need to know as on date? We'll keep it pretty open, whatever shows up for each of the piles. If you're new to pick a card readings, I'm going to right now shuffle and take out 3 oracle cards from this deck. You can pick one or more than one. It's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Not every message is going to be for you. On that note, let me quickly start shuffling and see what comes out for the 3 piles. I will place crystals for you, for those of you who like to pick through crystals, once we have the 3 piles here. Okay, what do we need to know for pile 1? One more shuffle, what do we need to know? Okay. We have Witch, the number 27, Justice is coming. That is a close-up of pile 1. For pile 2, our oracle option is Sword, the number 7, make the change. Wow, I like how each of them have a sword. Do you notice? Interesting. And for pile 3, perhaps there is a connection between 1 and 2 because too many similarities between 1 and 2, right? We have Wings, the number 8. You never needed those wings to fly, okay? You can pause the video if you need more time to make your selection. Again, if you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, click on that and I'll see you in your pile. Oops, sorry, I forgot to put the crystals, okay? So if you've not left it yet and you've not yet made your decision, let's see. I'm going to go with Green Aventurine for pile 1, Black Tourmaline for pile 2, and for pile 3, the Citrine. Let me give a quick close-up. So that's Green Aventurine, pile 1, Black Tourmaline for pile 2, and Citrine for pile 3. With that, now you can go pick your pile. Hello and welcome to those of you who picked pile 1 or the Green Aventurine. We'll look into this card and we'll talk about it in a minute at the end of the reading perhaps. If you've skipped the introduction, which many of us do, there is a Tarot Pal Instagram account. I invite you to join me there for daily tarot readings and you will find all the relevant timeless readings in the description box below. Okay, what does Spirit want us to know? I'm going to keep this a short and precise reading. We'll look at angel cards. We'll also look at some self-care cards at the end. But first, I'm going to begin with tarot. What does Spirit want us to know here and now? Okay, I'm going to see if there's any jumpers that fall out. If not, okay, we have 2 cards and I want 1 more. What does Spirit want? Oops, too many cards. We did see the 8 of Wands. We'll play that into the reading when that shows up. 1 more card, please. Okay. The underlying energy is 9 of Winter, which is the 9 of Swords. Again, Swords. Wow. 10 of Winter. Ace of Autumn. And the Emperor. Okay. What does Spirit want us to know right here and right now? I want to start off with the progression that is clearly evident with the 9 of Winter, the 10 of Winter, and the Swords. A very strong air sign energy here. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with those 2 sword cards there. And anyway, that sword was the first thing I noticed even in the reading, right? So doesn't mean that if I didn't say your zodiac, that's not for you. Just very strong air energy, right? Air energy can also sometimes link to concepts, thoughts, ideas, which are playing a major role in your life right now as you watch this reading, right? The other zodiac signs I have strongly present is Aries, Just a side note on astrology, the North Node, as per Vedic astrology, has moved to the sign of Aries, right? North Node does rule where the destiny is, where are we going as a collective. That's where the energies have shifted to. So maybe you want to see in your personal birth chart, where does Aries fall? And the opposite axis of Aries is Libra, right? So clearly Libra Aries axis for all of us as a collective is highly active right now. Which house does it rule for you? If you don't know how to see a birth chart, there's a tutorial I've posted in the Instagram account. Join me there and you'll find how do you read, how do you find your personal birth charts using a free app. I do have the Ace of Autumn here, which is the minor arcana Sun card. Can also link to the earth sign, which is Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn, okay? With that said, what does Spirit want you to know? The first thing Spirit wants you to know is that if you're worrying about some sort of either a legal or a outcome of a conversation that you've had, which perhaps was an uncomfortable conversation, which made you go through a certain amount of anxiety, there were certain endings, it felt like a crashing down of an ugly conversation. Firstly, that conversation's done, so congratulations. For most of you, the conflict part of it is over, right? Now that it's over and done with, now whether that went in your way or the other person's way, from here on comes a new beginning, right? From here on comes better ability to drive your life through your way. The Emperor has a structure, the Emperor has a routine, and the Emperor has a plan of action to conquer the next stage of life, right? 4, that the number that rules the sign of the card of Emperor, is also often linked with stability and structure. So something has clearly ended and Spirit wants you to acknowledge it, move towards the new place and the new workplace. For many of you, this seems like professionally as well. If you've just left a previous job, if you've just had a bad conversation with a colleague, if you've just had a conversation with a boss which just didn't seem to go right with either of you or for both of you, that is done, right? For some of you, it may mean an actual ending wherein that's it, that story is over. For some of you, it just needed to be out of your system. You've said what you needed to say. They said what they needed to say. Now move on with it and move on to the next plan, because the next plan has a very, very positive card of the Ace of Autumn. For those of you who are trying to start off something new, perhaps the month of April or the end of April, especially related to startups, especially related to financial investments, putting in some money at a new place will be wonderful by the end of April. So hold on until the planets move towards Aries. I'm sorry, I said end of April, end of March, right? So if you're watching this when it's not closer to March or April, then the second half of the year when planets start moving to the zodiac sign of Scorpio, that is another good time for you to start initiating these new things, okay? So a wonderful time for you to start making your vision board and then start the action by the time planets or whichever part of the year you're right now sitting in move towards either Scorpio or Aries, okay? For your relationships or for your, and by relationships I don't just mean romantic relationships, across relationships, some of the things that haunt you are more in your mind, because swords is the mind, swords is the thought. It's not really happening in the 3D, but you're replaying something over and over again, trying to come to that, that I'm going to get an epiphany out of this. Or if I keep thinking about that same thought, I'm going to get a new answer. There's no new answer coming. The answer will come through action. Because I have the Ace of Autumn, it talks about you got to take tangible steps towards the next relationship. Even if there's a current relationship, you got to move towards the next conversation and have a solid plan which links to where you're trying to go. As a couple, this can often indicate that you're buying something together, because the Emperor is about asset acquisition as well, or acquiring new land. And the Ace of Autumn is again about new beginnings, right? In whatever way though, if you felt that other people did not notice your efforts, right? Now, this could be in a relationship wherein you've put in an effort and somebody didn't acknowledge it. This could be a workplace situation wherein you've put in a lot of efforts, but you still feel a lot of acknowledgements are not done. With the Justice is coming and the Emperor here, an authority figure will come in and give you a due acknowledgement. Now, for all of you, it will play out differently. Somebody may just get a appreciation compliment, somebody may just get something in writing, someone may get an appraisal. For some of us, if you're in India or if you're in many parts of the world, this is a phase of appraisals, right? So speak your mind and be ready for that new start, because the Emperor of your life, wherever that's placed, right? These could be government figures, these could be bosses, these could be your father figures. They do appreciate and acknowledge, but right now you may not get the entire story exactly how you want it to play out, because it's an ace. It's just the starting. You got to have that patience to let that seed bloom, okay? The next new moon, whenever you're watching this reading, is a very, very powerful new moon for you, especially related to work, finances, starting out new healthy habits, everything related to the earthy realms, right? It's good time to take action about it. I'm going to move towards what do angels want to tell us for you right here, right now. If there is a relationship, of course, with the Ten of Swords showing up, if you've just gone through a breakup, it is the card of breakup. There's no shying away from it. Let that past go and step into your power. Emperor often talks about stepping into your power and believing that you can build something new even again, right? So Ace of Autumn to the Emperor, you can build something new from wherever you are. You do not need you do not need to reminisce the past in order for you to move further. Shield yourself, that's your first angel guidance. Okay, Indigo, which is the person you're inquiring about, is an indigo child perhaps. And fairies. Okay. Now with these three adding in for this, now those of you who have literal children in your life, make sure that you're spending enough time. I'm very surprised when sometimes I start a reading and there's a hawker that often comes. If you guys were a part of the March reading, the same hawker showed up and there was the same sound playing, which is almost sounds like the sound of the Damru, right? So that's a double affirmation of your root chakra being safe. What does that mean? That means that wherever you are, you're protected. Wherever you are, you have the right tools to take the right action. But just make sure that don't overshare your plans before they actually start sprouting, right? Sometimes the indigo children and the duration during which they are born, they are typically known to be very sensitive. They absorb energies. So maybe you're planning something and you share your idea with 3 people and they say something to you which kind of, instills this doubt, this 9 of Swords, right? And then you're reconsidering the entire plan again. When you've done, wow, I can't ignore the underlying energy was King of Wands, right? And that 9 of Autumn. So when you've thought through something, think it through, take due action, plant the seed, get your plan, and then start sharing your ideas. Because if you start sharing it at a very raw stage, you might start getting into, you may get distracted or you self-doubt your own plans, okay? With the fairies showing up, any of you who are planning some lifestyle shift or anything related to Mother Earth, the Gaia, reducing plastic use, changing to bamboo brush. It could be something small, could be something big. Sustainability is one key message coming from spirit, right? Now, this could also sometimes mean just eating healthy or eating organic, because this brings me to the shield yourself, right? If you're eating too much, too many unhealthy substances, over drinking, it can lead to making you feel more drained and then not ready for this Ace of Autumn. Remember, we got the indigo child, which is a very sensitive system in its own, right? And sensitivity is a power in both ways. While you absorb the energies, so of course carry a black tourmaline, take some dew salt baths. We've done all these rituals again in the Instagram stories, so you can go find that if you don't know what I'm talking about on the Tarot Pal account. But basically make sure that you have a routine, bringing back to the Emperor, around psychic protection, around taking care of your body, making sure that you're connecting to Earth and Gaia, and then allowing plans to take one step at a time. Cool? For those of you who do not have children, there could literally be a connection related to kids which may play an important role. Now, you could be a nurse, you could be a pediatrician, you could be a teacher, you could be in different professions in which, of course, children play an important role. For some of you, this could even be animals with that unicorn card showing up, right? So if there's any kind of a plan that you've already had in mind wherein you want to support these sections of society, underprivileged children, animal homes, Spirit wants you to nudge you towards those sides of the world, because it'll truly help you perhaps also heal from this 10 of Swords energy, right? Using mirrors, cleaning the mirrors of your house is one message that always shows up with the shield yourself energy with that mirror card. And also using mirrors to increase positivity in your space. Mirrors will always reflect whatever it shows, right? Make sure that there are no doors which face the mirror. That's one message always with Vastu. If you have a mirror which faces your main door or the room of your door, of your bedroom, it kind of pushes away all kinds of energies. And sometimes you want some good energies to come in, right? So how are mirrors placed in your house? Are the mirrors clean? Are you using mirrors right in your life? Okay, mirrors could also be the way we look at ourselves and how do we speak to ourselves. If you are being very harsh on yourself, which is the 10 of Swords, can again be an indication from Spirit. Take it easy on you, okay? I'm going to move towards some self-care cards. If this has resonated so far, if it has helped you, I hope you've hit the like button already. I plan to make it a short one, but we've already crossed 15 minutes into this. So let's see what self-care does Spirit want you to do right now? Apart from, like we've already said, eat healthy and avoid extremely harsh situations in any kind, right? Conflicts, trying to prove our point, pleasure. It's your first one. We're going to take 3 self-care cards. Make a meal. Like we said, what you're eating is creating a tremendous impact on your life. The number 5, the number 4 could be relevant numbers for you. And one more card. Hydrate. Wow. Eating, drinking, food, all playing out together, right? 27, which is funny. Now we're going to go back to the synchronicity. The first card which we picked was number 27. A cycle has ended, guys. Do you see the 999? If you've seen the future spouse reading, we had one of the piles which had, again, that number 9 playing out relatively strong. Spirituality could also be one method in which you get a lot of relief and a lot of clarity as to how you should go about your new grounded plan. Now, in some cases, that could also show up as relationship. I also have the pleasure card here. If you're somebody who consistently is confused between how you express pleasure in your relationships versus how you receive it, to come to an even ground, to be able to understand each other's love language, spirituality can truly help you, okay? Connecting to your higher self, whatever that means to you, whether you want to pray, whether you want to chant, whether you want to go on a walk, on a mindfulness meditation, whichever way you can connect to your higher self will help you understand your pleasure and your partner's pleasure. This could, of course, literally mean just taking out time for things that bring you pleasure, sexual or otherwise. Hydration and food, that's just a repeated confirmation. The number 9, if some of you are seeing 999s, that again, Spirit's trying to get your attention towards leaving what is behind, completing a cycle. Numerologically, 9 is the last number, right? So you complete a cycle, you're ready to move to the next. And 9 is also a number of humanitarian acts. I think I covered that. Again, sustainability, connecting to children, connecting to animals, those things will tremendously help you. I hope this helped you. If it did, leave me a like button. Leave me a fruit, because that's something healthy as an emoji. If you reach this part of the reading, I will see you in your next reading. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to those of you who's picked pile 2, the black tourmaline, or the sword card, which is make the change. If you've skipped the introduction, I invite you to join me on my Instagram account. The link is in the description, or you can just type Tarot Pal and you'll find me there for daily readings. Also, I hope you do not miss out on the 2022 readings, which cover career, love, different aspects of life, and has received pretty solid feedback. Okay, with that said, I hope you've hit the subscribe button. Let's look at what does Spirit want to tell us. We will look at some self-care cards and angel cards for you at the end. 3 cards from Tarot to see what does Spirit want to share. Some of you, by the way, if you've skipped the introduction, if 1 and 2 had a connection, okay, I can already sense it. If you were drawn to 1 and 2, maybe you want to listen to both of them, okay? So, what does Spirit want to tell us for pile 2? I'm waiting for some jumpers to fall. If they don't, we'll draw out cards. Okay, what does Spirit want us to know for pile 2? We have 4 cards that have come out for you, so I'll take all 4. Your underlying energy is 7 of winter. The first pile had a winter card as an underlying energy. We again have another sword card here. 3 of autumn. The 10 of summers. The princess of spring. Wow, another winter card, which is again swords. So we have, for Rider-Waite's reference, that's the 3 of pentacles, 10 of cups, Page of Wands, and the King of Swords, okay? What does Spirit want us to know? Actually, I want to place it like this. Okay. First of all, in whatever way you can become a part of a larger team, a larger community, become a part of a teamwork association, because 10 of summer is family, a larger group. The 3 of autumn is again collaborating your strengths with other people. Whether it's professionally, whether it's personally or socially, bringing people together and becoming a part of a larger community is what Spirit wants you to know right here, right now. That's your first and the most important message of this entire spread, right? Why do I say that? You will not only draw inspiration, you will not only draw optimism from the community that you're a part of, and of course give optimism and inspiration. You will also draw a certain amount of wisdom which you lack as there are experts in your own community doing different kinds of things. the more you can collaborate with them for their strengths. This could be you have an X strength at work and you partner with somebody who's actually very, very different from you, but together you come and you make something amazing, okay? Emotional fulfillment is also what Spirit affirms you of in the coming days. Whenever the 10 of Summers shows up with me, for me, with the 3 of Autumn, it is like, what in some cases, and if you've seen my other readings, I'm very strong on being self-sufficient when it comes to emotional fulfillment. This combination often talks about how do you bring in joy to other people's life, to your community, to your workplace, to your relationships, to your family, the most important part, and how does your family bring in more joy to you, right? So in the next coming days, whenever you're watching this, take it as a timeline of 10 to 15 days, there would either be an event that brings in this kind of a joy, or there would be an opportunity for you to do something as a team together that brings in a certain amount of emotional fulfillment and emotional contentment. Ask yourself, how do I want my house to be? Then maybe sit down, list it out with your family members and ask them, how do they want their home to look like? What is their goals, right? Because as a family, individually, we may have different goals. But when we sit down and list, where do we want to go in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? This is that collaborative energy coming in, right? When it comes to zodiac sign, I do have, of course, strongly the air signs present here with the King of Swords, which is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. There could be somebody with these energies as well, even if they're not that zodiac sign, who are very analytical, logical, wise, intellectual, and politically correct. Listen to them, listen to their guidance, because they will have a lot to offer when it comes to your emotional fulfillment. Okay, moving on to inspiration. That is something clearly showing up. If there's a project that you've been working on, especially a creative project, adventure plan that you want to go towards. Okay, if there's I just paused the video for a minute. If there is a project that you're working on, consult with somebody who's perhaps already an expert in it. Okay, now this could be a creative project that you want to work upon. This could be a new professional course that you want to sign up for. Ask the industry leaders to share their experiences. Maybe you want to go on sites like LinkedIn, or read up things about how other people took their journey, because you will draw inspiration from leaders. That is where Spirit wants you to be focused on, because somebody else has done what you're doing. As unique as we all believe ourselves to be, we're never going to be the first person to do something. We're just going to create something from what our ancestors or previous lineage has already done. So learn from them and then create your new path, okay? For very few of you, this is a very specific message, of course. There could be a new family member addition. There could be a baby in the house. There could be you adopt a dog or a cat, because this is a very child energy, and that's the house card for you, right? So there's a new addition happening for some of you, okay? But I feel that that's like for 10-15% of you watching this reading, right? I want to bring in this card with the 7 and the 7, right? The underlying energy here is clearly of a lie, a deceit, a manipulation, right? You've known it, you've been watching it, and you've been observing it, and it takes away, it drains away your energy, but you still allow it to feed. I cannot ignore the mirrors which are repeatedly showing up in each of these piles that we're reading. This card has a mirror in a very different way than the first pile, right? So again, I want to repeat, if you were drawn between 1 and 2, 1 will have a message for you, okay? There's a lie that for most of you feels like you're selling to yourself more than other people telling you. It's time to make that change, to cut away from it. And that's just as literal as it is, because the 2 sevens showed up that evidently, right? For few of you who are planning a haircut, a tattoo, Venus has moved on from Capricorn. A wonderful time. It moves to Aquarius when I'm making this reading. If you're watching it during this duration when I post it, any kind of a physical change, perhaps slightly even different from what you've always done, out of the way for some of you, this is a wonderful time to go for it, okay? Because she's literally chopping her hair off. Okay. Any other messages before I move on to the oracle cards? I think I've covered the part wherein we've discussed about collaborative energy with experts. Some of you may get an opportunity where a leader notices you, gives you an opportunity to do something, but then be ready to be in the beginner's mindset, okay? The emotional fulfillment of this project will not be that you're the leader and you know the best thing and you know it all. You have to be in that space of being a learner. While you may be very excited, accept feedback with the right mindset, okay? In the vice versa situation, of course, you may be picking out people for your own team and then have the patience for these pages, because pages have so much energy, right? They want to do so much, they want to be so much, but they're not ready to take that course on their own. So be ready to train. Some of you may be actually getting opportunities to train other people or coach other people. So if you're looking for if you are in a profession of coaching, that's a double confirmation. Have that patience to have that nurturing aspect towards what you're doing in life, okay? We're going to move on to our angel cards. Oops, 1 second. Some of you may actually even be buying jewelry. Something to do with the Venus placement here, okay? There's a jewel here, there's a jewel here, there's a jewel here. So look at if there's anything that you've been planning to buy as a jewelry, that's perhaps a thumbs up from Spirit. It'll help you add in more positivity in your life, okay? One more shuffle. What does angel want you to know? What do the angels want you to know? Goddess, divine feminine energy. I just said Venus, right? Connect to your Venusian side. I'm just going to leave it. If you have been planning a makeover, you want to look better, you want to go buy something. Sometimes this is also just more nurturing things like intuition, like painting, drawing, the softer colors of life. Color therapy could be another way to connect to your divine feminine side. You do not have to be a woman, of course, repeatedly said in different readings. All of us have the masculine and the feminine side. So the goddess energy within you is asking to be acknowledged, is asking to be worked upon by Spirit, okay? You and some other women in your life may also collaborate to bring something, because this is the collaboration energy. Wow. Okay, romantically, especially in twin flame relationships, if you are in one, I'm very careful when I use that word. And if you've seen my readings, you know how I specifically am particular about what you label as twin flame. But I'm just going to call it in relationships. Ask yourself, are you being in the receiving mode? Are you being soft? Are you being nurturing? Are you somebody who's able to receive the love that you seek, right? With this 10 of summer and the goddess energy and the twin flame energy showing up, the divine feminine may be do very, very well. Some of you are doing tremendously well in healing your divine feminine side. That's also a confirmation with this, because I have all positive cards here. You've taken due action. You're taking the right measures. You're collaborating with the right people. You have the right wisdom to build this happy home that as a woman perhaps you seek, or your divine feminine side seeks. And that is working beautifully to heal your twin flame relationships. Some of you may, of course, Spirit may be confirming if there's somebody in your mind you want to question, is this that person? Yes, especially if there's an air sign in your life, okay? Manifestation power. This brings me back to that first energy of, I feel like for many of you, collaborate to get what you want. Okay, for this pile, the repeated messages, reach out to other people and they can help you get what you want, because some of you may have struggles asking for help, right? Which is a big divine feminine wound to deal with. If you do not know how to receive help, if you do not know how to ask for help, if you think asking for help makes you weak, that's something to work upon. But if that's not your challenge, then go out, ask the expert for support to get what you want, because you can get it, okay? Work with the color yellow, work with the color pink. That's a very balanced combination. Pink will usually help you with your divine feminine energies, and yellow is that perfect solar plexus energy, okay? Moving on to self-care cards. Let's see what has shown up. If this reading so far has given you inspiration, resonated with what you're working on, I hope you've already hit the like button. And let's see what self-care does Spirit want you to work with. Massage. Damn, I cancelled mine today. Okay, it's number 7. Again, showing up for you guys. Do you see how synchronicity plays out? We had 9s in another reading. We have 7s here. The number 7. Look at your 7th house, because again, goddess, divine feminine energy is again about partnerships. What's going on in your 7th house? What kind of transits are you experiencing? Something again, I advise you to join me on my Instagram account, where we do share a lot of content around astrology transits as well, okay? But of course, as a self-care, Reiki, massage therapy, go for it if you're planning it. Look to the stars. Again, that Aquarius energy showing up. This card literally points towards Aquarius and Pisces. The number 4, astrology playing a tremendously important role. I love when I say something and the next card I pull kind of confirms it. So I think I've already covered this part. Look what's happening in your astrological transits. Work with the transits to create the life that you want. There are certain transits which will always support certain aspects of life. So you would know individually when you look at your birth charts, what part of your chart is highly activated. There are planets moving from Capricorn to Aquarius. There are planets moving from Pisces to Aries. So look at these different aspects of life, and do you see the Pisces and the Aries axis right here highlighted, right? For many of you, simply stargazing would be a wonderful self-care act, okay? A wish with that shooting star is perhaps getting fulfilled. I strongly feel for many of you, this is a romantic wish. You've been wishing on something to happen, and that may just happen for you. Dance and the number 9 showing up. Let loose. This does not need a lot of explanation. A wonderful way to set it easy. These are two very physical cards, if you notice, massage and the dance. So your body needs your attention, and as a divine feminine energy that we've discussing so far, Venusian energy talks about letting it easy, having fun, pleasure. Okay, didn't have that card here, but that energy was strongly present. I hope you found some guidance and some inspiration with it. If you did, I hope by now you've hit subscribe. Leave me a star emoji because clearly a wish is getting fulfilled for this pile, and I will see you in your next reading. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome, pile 3, if you've picked citrine or the wings card, okay? If you've skipped the introduction, I recommend you or I invite you to join me on my Instagram account, Tarot Pal. The link is in the description below. There are also timeless readings and readings focused on the year 2022, which you will find in the description box below. I hope you do remember to hit like, hit subscribe, engage with this content if it helps you. That's a little bit of an energy exchange, which surely is the best way to say thank you for what I'm doing for you here. All right. Let's look at what does Spirit want us to know. For pile 3, we're going to take 3 cards, then self-care and some angel guidance, all right? Pile 3, what does Spirit want us to know? We have 2 cards out. I want 1 more. And that's out, all right? We have the 4 of Summer, which is the 4 of Cups. We have 9 of Autumn, which is the 9 of Pentacles. And, okay, hold on. I keep confusing the Death and the Tower card of this. This is the Tower card. Okay, perfect. We have the Tower card. This pile, I always get, this tarot deck, I'm always confused between which one is deck and which one is Tower. Okay, so we have, and if you're still somebody who gets freaked out when the Tower shows up, for the last time, it's one of my favorite major arcanas because only good things have happened in my life whenever Tower has shown up. So relax, because I think you're actually desperate for a Tower moment. This file feels stuck, bored, frustrated, and Spirit acknowledges it. Okay, that's the first message Spirit wants to give you. If you keep feeling like I am in a pattern, I keep repeating it. Wow, no wonder you've actually even picked 8, which is the 8th house of transformation. It is also the Wings card that you've picked, which talks about breaking away and flying away from something, right? Look at this. This actually has birds and flying. And with this flying and the butterfly energy showing up, check where Scorpio lies in your house, in your birth chart, okay? That's one message I want to give you. Clearly, if you are somebody, now this will play out differently for each of you, right? If you're someone who's shying away from your responsibilities, if you're not noticing what you already have, what is good in your life, and you're not having gratitude journaling is one message that I want to give this pile, okay? First of all, acknowledge what you have, the blessings that you have, right? And if there is a pattern, especially an emotional pattern, cups are always emotions, right? That you're on a loop with, it's literally like your angels and your guides want to just step in and push you out of it, okay? Like they step in. The Tower is always a card of telling in, if you can't do it anymore, then let go or be dragged, right? So while, yes, some people find it slightly difficult, so if you're somebody who sees change to be challenging, it does not make you feel comfortable or you take time to adapt to changes. That is why Tower has historically a slightly scarier notion, if we may say so. But if you're somebody who's excited for change, if you're somebody who's waiting for change, if you understand that change is inevitable and we all need change to progress, to grow, to build something, right? That's what's coming your way. Spirit gives you a confirmation that if you're waiting for a breakthrough, especially an emotional breakthrough, it is coming your way. Don't hesitate to move towards these new directions, right? Don't hold yourself back in that past. Okay? This sometimes talks about, because the card before this is the 3 of Cups. In tarot, you always got to look at the card, one card prior and one card after to get that story right. Whenever the 4 of Cups shows up, it means somebody had a great time in the past, right? 3 of Cups is energy, weddings, events, having fun, drinking, going out. It's literally a drugs high. The 4 of Summer is that downer, right? And 5 of Cups goes to one stage down, which brings you back to the disappointments energy, right? Because you're still reminiscing the past until the 6 of Cups come in and you kind of just, fine, I'm just going to think about the good things of the past and let go of the bad, right? So remembering things of the past because you cherish them is great, but trying to say, Good old days when I was in school, good old days when economy was like this, good old days when rulers didn't act like this. That's not helping anybody, right? That's not helping you. That's not helping the larger society. So why might as well not crib about what is not going right and start thinking about how can I make this better? If you are not yet there, then spirit comes in and steps in to give you that leap. For many of you, I want to tell you, because this card is always talking about, it's almost like Rapunzel was waiting, right? You see that tower as well of that Rapunzel, and no wonder how synchronicity works out. We got the tower card, we have a tower here as well. And birds, more birds in every card. What's to do with birds? If you see birds in the next 10-15 days, take that as a confirmation of this reading, wherein spirit is reminding you of things that we're talking here. It's time to fly out. It's time to break away. It's time to make that transition. And you do not need somebody else to do this. 9 of Autumn for me is the card of, it's the epitome of self-sufficiency, independence, to a certain amount, detachment, because you're ready to build this on your own. You have all the resources, you have the ancestral support, you have all of it that it needs to be done. For many of you who've actually been working very hard on something, 9 of Autumn also confirms that you will reap the benefits of it. You will reap the, especially monetary benefits of it, okay? If you're planning to buy any kind of a asset, if it's been a thought-through decision, because I do have the tower and I'm not going to ignore that. If it's a thought-through decision, you've already checked the final lines, you've read through the contract, you've gone through it end to end, it's a big thumbs up. It will pay off really well. You deserve it. If there's a self-care act that you want to do, you want to buy something nice. It's a designer bag that you've been eyeing for a number of months. If you've given it enough consideration, if you've checked your balances, if you've ticked your boxes, go for it. But if you've not, then perhaps you want to hold on, because tower can sometimes bring in a sudden financial expense as well, okay? It can also bring in a sudden opportunity wherein you are singled out of a group to do something that even you are surprised, wow, I see there were better people qualified to do this, but they picked me. So if they've picked you, have the confidence to deliver, because they didn't pick you for no reason, right? If you're planning a business, especially a sole entrepreneurship, this is a great card for it. Stop thinking about it. Stop waiting for, this card is a card of excuses for me, okay? So there are endless excuses that we're giving ourselves. I don't know if it is that good enough. I don't know if this will work out well. Tower says, break through that notion, that monotony, that boredom that you're stuck on, and take tangible action towards it with the 9 of Autumn. I hope that made sense to you, okay? For very few of you, this actually speaks very clearly. If there's an off and on relationship, if there's something's just not working out well, if you've kind of not been feeling it in whatever sense, Tower to the 9 of Autumn is, 9 of Autumn is the singlehood card, okay? It often talks about being single, being self-sufficient, and breaking out of relationships that do not serve you anymore. So if you are, don't try to push something that is not your message. If you're in a happy relationship, I'm not saying you're going to go through a breakup. I'm saying if you're not emotionally content, if you're bored, if things are not going right, 2 messages. If you feel like this relationship still is worth it, then you be the person who takes the first step, and you do not wait for somebody else to heal this relationship, right? If you feel like, you know what, I've done it all, it's just not worth it, then it's time to break away and be okay being alone. That's a big message of this card, okay? Fit it as it resonates. Let's look at what angels want to tell you. Oops, too many cards. Hold on. For some of you, getting a jade plant, by the way, would be wonderful, okay? It just brings in a lot of luck, positivity, and eases this transition, because you're clearly going through some transition which is not easy for you. Wow, if you get nervous, focus on service, visualize success, and crystals, working with crystals. I mean, I don't have to explain this card. Whenever this shows up, literally means like, if you are drawn to a crystal, if you want to buy a crystal, if there's a crystal grid that you want to make, using crystals in your manifestation techniques will work wonders for you. So that's that with this. Also, when you feel as if will my needs be met, if some of you are going through financial stress, I know it is, it kind of sounds like, when we are going through financial difficulties, it feels almost like, how can she ask me to do this? But trust me, if you've experienced it, you know what I mean, right? If I have 10 rupees and I'm really worrying about paying off a bill, but I cross somebody and I notice that they need 2 rupees, and if I have the ability to give that 2 rupees, never give something that empties your cup. Yeah, keep your cup full. Being of service, and it does not have to be money, right? Sometimes it could be just time. Sometimes it could be conversations. Sometimes it could be saying some inspirational words to this person that uplifts their mood. Making other person smile will always make you feel powerful, and that is the energy that you want to be in, because you feel like you're making an impact. So the message of this card always is, When you feel like as if you're powerless, when you feel like nothing's in your control, ask yourself, can I do something right now in my community that can not only make me feel like I make a difference, but will also bring in joy to other people? When you're focused on the greater good, you trust that the universe will take care of your needs, especially financial needs, if that's the context that we're talking about, okay? This brings me back to that same message that we just discussed. If you're questioning and giving yourself random excuses of why this will fail, I'll be very honest, it will fail, right? Then there's just no point in doing it. But if you visualize how things can work out for you, right? If you start thinking of what if it does, I'm sure you've played that. I've repeated this in different readings, but if this is the first reading, you've seen it. I love the Abrahamic games of playing with yourself. What if it happens? Then what? What does your life look like? What if this happens? What if that happens? So start playing the what if game in the positive sense, and the energy would be much easier to deal with, okay? If you're struggling, of course, with bringing in more joy and positivity, and I have the crystals showing up, working with Sunstone Ganesha. No wonder this guy is speaking up in your reading. That's a little reference point for you. Sunstone is a wonderful stone if you struggle with being positive and you struggle with having that inner confidence that tells you that I can win the world. I am the sun of my life. Okay, that's one. Citrine, of course, is the stone that you've picked, which is an all healer stone, but it's a very strong stone when it comes to your solar plexus, right? Yellow as a color, orange as a color are some things to work with when we're talking about color therapy. And let's move towards your self-care cards now to see how do we navigate this by taking care of yourself. For very few of you, a very specific channel message, you may be invited to do a talk, like a little talk, right? Your podcast, or somebody asks you to be interviewed, or someone says, can you come in and take a session and speak on this topic? Don't say no to it, because again, you're doubting yourself, or you're just too bored and you're like, I don't know why should I do it? Where am I? Just do it, okay? If you get invited to speak anywhere, just go and take up that opportunity. Let us look at your self-care message. Clean your space, the number 9. This could literally be cleaning your mind as well. Okay, I don't know why that's the first time I've noticed that this girl has a tattoo. If you're planning one, that's just another confirmation, but clean your space. Decluttering will be a wonderful way again to change the energies of monotony. This pile feels like as if you're bored. Okay, your monotony has set in and you need to just break out of it. Move your furniture, do something around your house that changes the energy. Drink tea, the number 3. Okay, 3 and 9. These are some, it tells me you may want to also work with, I do notice the crystals of this card as well, right? You see, this is the same flower here at the back of a tattoo as well. Yeah, maybe lotus meditation, connecting to the Buddhist, ways of connecting with spirituality. If those things interest you, that's another message for self-care for you. Chamomile tea, if you're somebody who's dealing with a lot of stress while you go through these changes. Tower can bring in stress for people who do not like sudden changes. So you maybe want to use lavender, chamomile, these de-stress auras and plants for yourself. Meditate, and the number 8. Again, the lotus. Okay. If you like painting, or if painting is therapy for you, paint lotus. Okay, something will be released through this. Okay, and you see that sun card here again, right? I've already given you references for how to work with the sun. If this has helped you, I hope by now you've hit the like button. Leave me a sun emoji under this if you've reached this part of this reading. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.